I want you to write down the words the preposition the veritas machine, the veritas machine, the veritas machine, the preposition the veritas machine, veritas.
Greetings,
veritas,
everybody. Come on in.
Machine, veritas,
Welcome.
veritas machine. The veritas machine.
Let's do this.
The truth set you free.
Oh, yeah. Greetings, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Veritas Machine, episode 9, Mafia Monday. How you doing, people? Let's go. From the pineapple to the big apple, from Maine to Spain. Let me know where you are. Is everybody in? The ceremony is about to begin.
The truth set you free.
All right. Buonasera. How's everybody doing? This is Tony D. Welcome to another edition of the Veritas Machine. Another Mafia Monday. This is episode 9. Make sure you like, share. If you are not subscribed, you will not be able to chat with me. So make sure you hit that chat. Hello, UK. Make sure you hit that chat button. We're going on YouTube today exclusively. So another week that we look inside the workings of the mafia all around the world. Lots of topics to cover on this. If you want to hear something that I haven't covered yet, we're going to be doing this for Mondays for a while. So go ahead and put that in the comments down below. You could also message me on other platforms like Twitter and the Gram if you have a topic that you would like to hear. But let me know. Always you could communicate with me through the comments as long as you are kind and nice and don't use any of my restricted weirdo words. So just be normal. Don't be a freaking weirdo. So today we are going to get into the Philly Mob War. Now, this was a period of time between 1981 and 1985. And if you look into the mob, we're going to switch up some screens here and get this going. Bow, bow. I love that new theme music. You guys like the new intro? Let me know if you do. I'm going to share a screen with you here. Where are we? Okay, there we go. So let's get this screen shared here. Wait a minute. Did I do the audio? Hold on. Let's try this one more time. Let me make sure that I share the audio because sometimes I do that. See, I caught myself. I'm a professional. Okay, so between 1981, there we go, and 1985, there are a lot of things going on in the Philadelphia mob. Now, originally, what people don't know is the Philadelphia crime family began in 1911. A gentleman by the name of Salvatore Sabella, right? And it was mostly in the Philadelphia area and New Jersey. At the time, there were, I think, they had like 50 members and 100 associates. You know, not that many. They were still into all the alleged racketeering, extortion, bookmaking, gambling, fraud, drug trafficking, all the stuff, all the things, right? But then when you go through history, you start to see other cities that are involved. New York, New Orleans, which was actually the first mafia city. And we're going to go through all the history of these things throughout the course of the series. But right now, we're going to stay in my hometown. And we are going to talk about the hell's that? Is that a new setting? The fuck? Hold on, guys. Okay. Well, let's see what this does here then. Hello. I got a corner seat. There's a new setting here on this streaming platform. Anyway, we are going to get right into it. And like I said, this extends into South Jersey, into Atlantic City, into other places in the tri-state area. Let's get into it.
When New Jersey voted to permit gambling casinos in Atlantic City, state officials talked confidently of being able to keep organized crime off Atlantic City's famous boardwalk. But criminals began early trying to muscle in, and there was bloodshed. Stephen Fraser's report tonight is on the difficulty the state has had in trying to keep the racketeers away.
Atlantic City, June 1977. New Jersey Governor Brendan Byrne signed a law paving the way for casinos. Byrne told the mob to stay away.
Keep your filthy hands out of Atlantic City. Keep the hell out
While the
of
mob
our
guys
state.
are behind him.
But organized crime didn't.
Wink, wink.
State police say the mob is increasingly active in Atlantic City. They say the fight for control of illegal activity here has grown into the biggest gangland war since the days of Chicago's Al Capone. So far, there's no evidence that the casinos themselves have been infiltrated. But authorities say unions with ties to organized crime are trying to organize casino security guards and have already organized hotel and restaurant workers and roofers.
So if organized crime comes in and controls the unions, they have a stranglehold around the casino.
Police say the mob is also involved in businesses that provide the casinos with parking, food, liquor.
Duh. Hey, all I could say is that I was really good during that.
And vending machines.
Just real quick, I just wanted to review what was happening in Atlantic City at the time. It was the bloodiest time in the history of the Philly mob. Sorry about that, guys. Thank you for checking me. See, I had the screens on share. You know, look, I'm just working with some new stuff. So you got people that were in the mob at the time. One of the bloodiest stretches between 1981 and 1985. We are in the early development of what was happening in Atlantic City. And this is around the period of time, by the way, when Trump was building in Atlantic City. So if everybody's like sort of wondering, you know, this is where some of the Trump properties were. I actually worked on one of the Trump properties nearby Atlantic City as a kid. It was actually a polo club that I worked at when I was 12, 13 years old. This was during this time. Yeah, crazy, violent time in Atlantic City.
You could have the cleanest casino in the world, managed by staff from St. Patrick's Cathedral. But if they had to buy their cigarette machines from organized crime, then organized crime would have a hold on the casino.
The concern is that given a foothold inside the casinos, the mob could expand its influence to shake down the owners for some of the millions of dollars made on the casino floor. The high stakes have prompted a struggle between organized crime families in Philadelphia and New York.
I've also credited the creator Mob Facts here, and I've also put the link to this video in the description so that you can go see some of what they have. And they have a plethora of
March 1980, Philadelphia mob boss Angelo Bruno was shot as he sat in his car. The murder is still under investigation. But the Justice Department has filed papers in court reporting that 3 different informants say this man ordered the murder, Frank Thierry. He is described by the Justice Department as the most powerful mob boss in New York. Thierry, weakened by a recent illness, denies responsibility for the Bruno murder. But New Jersey police say Bruno's successor tried to make peace with Thierry's people. The new head of the Bruno crime family came to this street in New York City to talk with the Gambino and Genovese families about sharing control of Atlantic City. The peace talks failed. 5 more men were executed before year's end, including an Atlantic City union leader with ties to organized crime. 11 days ago, Bruno's successor was killed. Philip Testa, the Philadelphian whom police said tried to make peace, died as a bomb destroyed his home.
Now, we had covered a little bit of this in one of the previous... yeah, it was off. Huh? You guys can hear me now, though, right? So, sorry about that. These things, they happen. I think for some reason, I just always go into my headphones. I'm going to change that up. Switching up a couple of technical things here. But this, we covered in a couple of the last things about Philadelphia. This is Phil, the Chicken Man Testa. If you've ever listened to Bruce Springsteen, a song called Atlantic City. Well, they blew up the Chicken Man in Philly last night. That's what this is about. Not really a big fan of Bruce anymore. Too bad they let their politics get in the way of picking up a guitar and just doing the songs. Hey, get up, do a song about the politics. Don't talk about it. Just get up a song and do a song about it, and then sit down.
Police say the current mob boss in Atlantic City is still a Philadelphian, Nick Scarfo.
This is little Nicodemo Scarfo.
And they say his life could be in jeopardy from the New York mob.
If I was Nicholas Scarfo, I certainly wouldn't start to read a long novel unless I was a speed reader.
Interest in Atlantic City is not confined to East Coast crime families. State police say a lot of real estate in the city's rundown neighborhoods is being bought by mobsters from Toronto who are laundering underworld money from other parts of the world.
At one time, we made some kind of a trace, and I think we came up with 62 parcels of property that they had purchased in the Atlantic County and Atlantic City area.
So underworld activity in Atlantic City grows, despite Governor Burns' warning, and despite a major effort by New Jersey to fight it. The state passed the toughest casino control act in the world. It spends $20 million a year and uses 700 people to keep the casinos clean. The mob might not control casinos, but it has them under siege.
They come at us from all sides every day.
Stephen Frazier, NBC News, Atlantic City.
And as Charles Murphy reports, in one large city, mob murders are becoming almost routine.
In this business, there's only one law you got to follow to keep out of trouble.
And this is all fair use.
Do it first. Do it yourself.
This is
and keep on doing
entertainment, educational.
That was Hollywood. But in the last couple of years, it could have been Philadelphia. 16 members of the Philadelphia underworld have been killed in a gangland civil war.
Thank you.
Angelo Bruno, head of the family, killed by a shotgun blast. Phil Chicken Man Testa, Bruno's successor, blown up on his front porch. Rocco Marinucci, suspected of blowing up Testa, shot 9 times, firecrackers stuffed in his mouth. Frank Narducci, prominent Bruno family member, shot 10 times.
I don't think this country has seen anything like what Philadelphia is seeing since the days of Prohibition, since the days when Al Capone was in charge of the Chicago family.
And this in the city of William Penn, the Quaker who chose...
Okay, so right there, that is Fairmount Circle in my hometown of Philadelphia. Right about where this photograph was taken, there was a picture of Rocky Balboa looking over the city. Straight ahead, you could see the Fairmount Fountain there go straight down the Parkway. There's the Ben Franklin Parkway up there. And when you go to the end, you see a long cylindrical phallic building. That is City Hall. And on top of it sits William Penn. Pennsylvania actually means Penn's Woods. So there you go. There's a little Philly history for you. And when you have a certain angle of William Penn on the roof on the top of that building, which is a building where my mom used to work, actually in City Hall in Philadelphia, you turn and you have a certain angle and it looks like he has got a full-on erection pointing towards Camden, apparently. I don't know if it's Camden. I don't know if it's pointing towards Camden, but you could look that up and see some of that.
Goes for it, a name
Michelle,
that means brotherly love.
They certainly don't seem to have any brotherly love between each other. Just a lot of brutality and a lot of murder.
Between 1959 and 1980, when Angelo Bruno allegedly ran the family from this South Philly row house, there were no killings.
He was the classic godfather.
He was considered like a gentleman gangster. Okay, Angelo Bruno. Since there were no killings, he was a peaceful leader, right?
He was a nice guy.
Next one's not so much.
He's great.
Police think younger family members who wanted to make more money faster got impatient and got rid of Bruno, and that started the string of killings.
Although most of the killings have taken place in Philadelphia, this is what they're fighting for, the big money along this boardwalk.
Casinos came to Atlantic City, only 50 miles from Philadelphia, in 1978. Last year, the 9 casinos here grossed $1.1 billion, half the take of Nevada's 200. The lure of that big money has drawn organized crime to Atlantic City. A former member of the Philadelphia family, his identity concealed, recently told a U.S. Senate committee what Atlantic City means to his old associates.
Did they ever mention the figure of how much money they expected to make?
Nobody knew the exact figure, but it had to be a hell of a lot, Senator, because everybody put up $500,000 apiece.
New Jersey tries hard to keep the underworld out of the casinos, but officials suspect the mob has muscled its way into some of the construction contracts that have changed the look of this old resort.
All right, here we go. Now, think about this for a minute. Mob contracts, Atlantic City, Trump. Okay, now look. You cannot look at the situation of Donald Trump and not look at this. You cannot look at one thing. Now look, look, you want to make an omelet, you got to break a few eggs in life. To get to a certain point of being a developer, changing the skyline, all the money, all that power, that's the omelet. The eggs you got to break are the people. The contracts that you have to get. You do not move a brick in the tri-state area for construction without dealing with the mob. That's all I'm saying. Okay? Not everybody's a saint, but they don't have to be. You don't have to be a saint to achieve greatness. In fact, you could have really done some shitty things in your life, and if you turn it around, you have a chance. Some of us are just trying to outrun who we used to be, man. That's all. Just by doing good stuff, if we can. Right?
Enforcement officials say mob-run companies have also tried to take over the business of supplying hotels with food
Truck
and beverages.
drivers. Look at
New
that.
Jersey Division of Gaming.
Distributors, food and beverage, construction, the boxing, every little bit, every aspect of Atlantic City was run by the mob. Hands down.
Enforcement has tied Local 54, which represents 10,000 hotel and casino workers, to organized crime.
Unions.
The union denies the connection.
With a casino that is grossing upwards to sometimes over $1 million a day during the busy season, there's quite a bit of leverage there that a corrupt union could possibly improperly invoke against a casino operation.
Law enforcement officials say this man, Nicodemo Little Nicky Scarfo, has effectively run Local 54 for a number of years, and that this power has helped him take over the Philadelphia crime family. Some say he has also been helped by a New York City crime family.
Everybody in the street
Gambinos
knows
and the
that if you
Bananas.
take on Little Nicky and you're successful in taking him out, killing him, that you're going to have the Genovese family to contend with. That's one heck of an insurance policy.
Until recently, Scarfo lived at his mother's boarding house in Atlantic City. He professes to be a patriot.
Well, what we're going to see throughout this series, and that's a great question, what we're going to see throughout this series is how deeply connected the mob has been to several industries. It's not just construction, right? It's all of these things. It's construction. It's entertainment, right? Film, television, music, right? I'm going to have a little story up here that I'm going to do this one of these times. That Sammy the Bull tells about Steven Seagal, where Steven Seagal was in a situation where Steven Seagal was just in they were making money off of Steven Seagal's movies. Okay, allegedly. This is from Sammy the Bull. And they got him in a situation where he thought he was going to get, Steven Seagal thought he was going to get killed. And the feds are like hugging him and he's like crying on their shoulders and everything. What do I do? What do I do? I'm Steven Seagal. I make my own shoes and I manufacture my own gunpowder, allegedly.
Loves his country and its Constitution.
Liberty
He
Bell.
took the Fifth Amendment 32 times at a recent state hearing.
You ever do that, guys?
Scarfo, what do you do for a living?
I respectfully decline to answer the grounds of the Fifth Amendment.
None of your effing business, you cocksucker.
Scarfo had been out on bail pending an appeal of a gun possession conviction. But last week his bail was revoked and he's now in federal prison. But it's expected the violence in Philadelphia will continue.
I think there's going to be a lot more killings before it finally does stop in Philadelphia.
You'll find that a lot of jailings of these mob bosses, and now what's happening, and we're going to get into this a little more next week, because the next episode is going to be the downfall of the Philly mob. Now they're still strong, but there was a power collapse. And right now, they are in a bit of a power vacuum. A lot of the guys, imagine, see the guys from this time right here, from the late 70s, early 80s. Well, guess what's happening right now? Okay. With all of these people in all of these, with all of these people in all of these organizations that got arrested and convicted and incarcerated decades ago, guess what's happening? They're getting out. And they're still alive, and they're coming back thinking they got a piece of something. And then Joey Merlino, we're going to get into what the actual power structure is now. And there is some confusion. So we got to talk to George Anastasia and a couple other things. But as we go through the series, you'll be learning a lot more. All right. There's a lot of information. Can't take it all in one bite, right? Make sure you guys like this.
It's too much at stake in Philadelphia
video here
and
some
Atlantic
other
City,
ones.
and the people fighting for it
Really
are
helps the
very
channel.
greedy. Charles Murphy, ABC News, Atlantic City.
In Philadelphia today, what appears to be a gang rubout is the latest fallout from an organized crime trial. A court case featuring a mob assassin turned government informant and secret surveillance tapes with blood-curdling threats. Peter Van Sant has the Philadelphia story and the tapes.
Bullets through the door, blood on the seat. Assassins in South Philadelphia this morning shot and killed Billy Vesey, the brother of a mob hitman who was supposed to testify today in the trial of Philly's alleged mob boss, John Stanfa.
Now, what does that tell you? He was going to go testify. They kill his brother. And guess what the kicker to this story is? He went and testified anyway because they killed his brother and it made him angry. It didn't scare him. It made him mad. I feel that. Hey, tap in the house. Everybody, if you haven't followed the Alethea Project's channel, I suggest you do. A lot of the people that you have watched get their research from him. So he's the we call him Double Tap around here on Mafia Mondays.
They knew where he was. They went up to the car, multiple shots fired, and they knew what their target was, and they hit it.
Vesey is the latest casualty in a Philadelphia mob war that is a throwback to Chicago of the 1930s. Since 1991, police say there have been 9 gangland hits, killing 5 mobsters. Today, a third Vesey brother promised more bloodshed.
One of my plans to find out who did it and kill them.
John Vesey was scheduled to take the stand this morning to think.
So there's really no. This is look, this is where I grew up, okay, in this town. And this is what we're like, okay? See this guy? He is, what was that, Channel 6, WCAU? Okay. Okay, listen to what this guy says. And here is his, they found out his brother died, right?
30s. Since 1991, police say there have been 9 gangland hits,
Now listen to
killing
this.
5 mobsters.
Very carefully.
Today,
He does, look at, there are news cameras all around him, okay? There are news cameras everywhere. He gives absolutely zero F's. Okay? Absolutely zero.
Third VC brother promised more bloodshed.
One of my plans to find out who did it and kill them.
John Vesey was scheduled to take the stand this morning to finger his former boss and 7 of his associates. Vesey turned against John Stanfa after he was targeted for murder.
Okay, now that is John Stanfa. All right, you're going to learn about these characters as we get through this, but that is John Stanfa. John went to prison, and that is when Joey Merlino took over, because Merlino was became at a period of time one of the underbosses, and we'll get into some of that.
The case against John Stanfa includes 3 murders, murder conspiracy, kidnapping, extortion, and loan sharking. The most damning evidence comes from Stanfa's own words.
They're pulling that shot out to get City Hall.
By the FBI.
Okay. Now see that building right there? That is City Hall. My mother worked in that building when I was a kid, and I remember. I'll tell you about it sometime, but just, I remember just going up and down, and I remember I had my little roller skates going up and down the halls in this place when I was a kid.
Including this chilling threat spoken in Italian.
Stanfa and cohort Sergio Battaglia were covertly videotaped entering a meeting where the FBI says they coolly discussed using acid to kill. Stanfa's attorney today denied
that is KYW, Channel 3. I used to work there too.
His client had anything to do with this morning's murder. Whoever did the killing has failed to intimidate the star witness. Sources say John Vesey plans to testify.
So that's what kind of resolve that some of these guys, they killed his brother. He's going anyway, right? He's going to testify anyway. Here, let's switch this screen now. I just got something else to share with you for a minute here. Stop of that one. Who's that guy? He's handsome. Handsome as fuck. Look at that motherfucker. Handsome man. Is that the right one? Is that the right one? Hold on. Ah, here it is. Is this it? Yes. Okay. I got it. I'm going to share this a little bit here. And this is really getting into
and spent
what is, when Nicky Scarfo got out.
17 of those months, or half of his tenure to that point, behind bars in a federal prison in El Paso, Texas. The crime family he had left was not necessarily the crime family he was returning to at the end of his prison sentence. Simply put, the Scarfo mob was in tatters, with many of Scarfo's top guys facing legal problems of their own, some of the charges stemming from incidents that occurred while Scarfo's men were drunk. For starters, Scarfo's longtime friend and underboss, Salvatore Chucky Merlino, had been arrested on suspicion of drunk driving in Margate, and during the course of his arrest, the drunken mob underboss had offered the arresting officer a bribe in the form of his expensive gold watch, as the entire episode was captured on videotape. Merlino was booked on attempted bribery and DWI charges, and faced as many as 10 years in state prison. Merlino's brother Lawrence had been arrested and charged with disorderly conduct after he...
Okay, this... Let me just go back a little bit here.
Had been arrested on... Top guys facing legal problems of their own.
Important.
Some of the charges stemming from incidents that occurred while Scarfo's men were drunk. For starters, Scarfo's longtime friend and underboss, Salvatore Chucky Merlino.
This is Skinny Joey Merlino's father. Okay? This is Joey Merlino's dad. This is how Joey Merlino is in the business. Okay? So, this is the connection between... He is essentially the connection between the mob of the past, the mob of the future. He's the conduit right here. This guy is the chain, or the link in the chain. All right. So we're going to get into Skinny Joey, and we're going to go through all of these guys.
Had been arrested
throughout
on
the course of
suspicion
this
of drunk
series.
driving.
All right.
Scarfo capo Joseph Chicky Ciancalini had lost his appeal on federal racketeering charges and was hauled off to federal prison, as was his co-defendant, Mario Sonny Ricobene, who had...
Okay, so Mario Ricobene was the brother of Harry the Hunchback Ricobene, who went up against these guys, and this incident right here is what started
what was left of the Ricobene gang.
And this whole war between
Both
all the
Raymond
factions in
Long
Philadelphia.
John Martirano and his son Cowboy were facing federal drug charges, and rumors were around that Long John would soon face charges for his role in the murder of union boss John McCullough, after it was reported that the triggerman Willard Jr. Moran was cooperating with the Philadelphia District Attorney's Office.
Well, we are going to continue this. We're going to continue this one next time, guys. That was another episode of the Old Mafia Monday. I hope you liked it. We are just unpacking a lot of information, and we're going to be doing that for a while. So if you are not subscribed and you're just looking, subscribe to the page. All right. Like this video, pass it out to your friends. There are people that are trying to, if you like me, there are people that are trying to cancel me. So if you do like me, which is a larger list, I think, than the people who don't, then I would ask that you share this out. Please hit that like button on your way out. And you can see in the bottom here, if you want to go to another level of supporting the page, I put something right there in the chat. I just started doing. I'm going to be working on the Streamlabs thing, and forget about it. All right. I really appreciate you guys joining me. I am Tony D, your host. This has been another episode of the Veritas Machine, another Mafia Monday, guys. I really appreciate you being here. I can't do this without you. And I got a lot of people that come at me and give me a lot of hard times, but you know what? That goes with the territory, baby. You got to have a thick skin if you want to do this. You can't come on here and be a soft little cupcake. There are going to be people that tell you they don't like you. They don't like the way you look. They don't like my stupid nose and my glasses or whatever they don't like. But you know what? I'm going to keep going. Nobody's ever going to stop what I'm doing until I am pushing up daisies. So until next time, I love you guys. Full send it.
I want you to write down the words the preposition, the Veritas machine, the Veritas machine, the Veritas machine, the preposition, the Veritas machine.
It's not a preposition.
Veritas machine, Veritas.
Oh boy.
Veritas.
This guy.
Veritas machine. The Veritas machine. The truth.
Nobody has a better intro, baby. Who gets Alec Baldwin to do their intro? Tragic situation. We're going to cover that also. Got a lot of other material and content coming up on the channel. Please like, share, subscribe. Hit those notifications. Go tap that bell. Give it a ding ding. Because I got a lot of content coming up. I got Rothschild. I got NSA. Let's go. I got work to do. Thank you so much for joining me. We'll see, Michelle. You just want to leave you one more. But I will take that. I will bring that feedback to the staff. Thank you for saying so. So we're going to see you on the next one. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining me. We'll see you on the next one. Veritas.
The truth. The truth.